Midori was always a band that I was extremely fond of due to their chaotic nature, but I am surprised to find out that there is no one talking about them outside of the nerdy music related websites. This band captured my eyes from the first time I stumbled upon them on YouTube, and ever since then I have become a fan of their work. This is why I have decided to dedicate my time to give them their flowers and show everyone one of my favorite Japanese bands, Midori. I'm going to apologize for what I'm gonna say, but I'm gonna use Wikipedia for most of my research. This band's information is very scarce, so this is my last resort for me to talk about them. Also, I will be using Last.fm for some additional notes, so it is not all a lost cause. Midori is a four-member art punk and jazz fusion band from Osaka, Japan. They were formed in the year 2003, consisting of members Mariko Goto on vocals and guitar, Hajime or Hajimeta on keyboards, Yoshitaka Kozeni on drums, and finally Keigo Iwami on bass. Although there were more members before this has been the lineup that they have stayed with until their end as a band. Vocalist Mariko Goto is by far their most prolific member, with her unique character that she built up over time. She often wore a serafuku while performing on stage. She would perform stunts while on stage, such as jumping into the crowd, climbing speakers, and hitting herself with a mic, all while playing with her signature Fender Toronado red guitar. Her lyrics are quite cryptic and hard to translate, but they often delve into themes such as trauma, romance, grief, and self-harm. She will also star in most of their album covers, except for a few. Speaking of albums, Midori's catalog or discography consists of 3 studio albums, 3 EPs, 2 demos, and 1 single. As soon as the band formed in 2003, they released their first demo called First. A few years later, in 2005, they would release their second demo called, well, Second. There's not much to talk about these projects due to them not being anything official, but they have songs that have been reworked and put on into different projects. They are decent projects, but nothing to write home about. Leading up to their first EP, First. Yes, I know, didn't they already use that title? But you're going to see that this is a running occurrence. Back to the EP, this is a huge step forward, and this will have their musical expression set for the rest of their career. The EP has an amazing first track, with it being some of their heaviest musically. Goto-san literally growls on that track. A great project, worth a listen to nonetheless. Now on to my favorite project from them. Released in the year 2007, we have their first album, called Second. Second is what I consider a masterpiece in my eyes. From the chaotic opener to the blissful fourth track, it is one of the best song runs in an album, in my opinion. The energy does not stop from there, but instead keeps on going with the next couple of tracks until we finally end on the 9th and final track. This is a perfect way to wrap up an album. I am really disappointed this album is not on streaming services. It would have easily been on all my Spotify Wrapped. No kidding. This album also has one of my favorite album covers. It is for sure simple, but I just love it so much. I am not sure as to why. I even have it as a wallpaper for my phone. This is how much I love it. Enough of me praising all over this album's greatness. Let us move on to the rest of their projects. The EP Shimizu came out a few months after Second, and I am still in awe as to how they keep on producing such great material back to back in such a short amount of time. Do not let the silly cover turn you off this album, because Shimizu is 6 tracks of pure goodness. Although the intro is just a shorter and more simpler version of the second track, it shows how much fun they have while recording their material. This is also one of their poppiest records to date, from the catchy chorus of Esoshika Dance to the infectious groove of the guitar break in track 5, or something of that sort, I think. I do not know how to explain music structure. This all ends when track 6 hits, and it is completely different from the rest of the project's material. The track is titled Goodbye, and it can be a perfect end to a band's legacy. But before that could happen, they had to drop one of their magnum opuses, as considered by many. We are finally here, what most people in music forums consider their best work to date, the title being shocking album cover for sure, but if it's the dirtiness of the album. Yukiko-san being the heaviest Midori song to date is their most popular song, and for a good reason. The track starts off with a harsh but catchy Destroy that hooks your ear as soon as you hear it. The chaos keeps on going into the rest of the songs, with some melodic tunes such as in track 8, but that is about all the softness you get in this album. I could go more in depth about each song, but there are people who can explain it way better on Rate Your Music or Album of the Year. Also, the album ends with one of their strangest songs, it just being an instrumental or free improv, with occasional screaming at the end. I'm not complaining though, it is still a great song. In between the release of their next album, the band will release a live album titled Live. Not much to explain about this live album. It's nothing on the level of a Fisherman's live album, but it is an okay project. They would also release what I consider to be Goto-san's best songs in terms of vocal performance. The single Swing will come in two versions, Swing Right and Swing Left, with the only difference being that one has an instrumental cover by Takuya and the other is just a karaoke version. The single would also come with two other underrated tracks, with the third track being my personal favorite for how earwormy the chorus is and how moving the piano riff is. The same year would also have their best live performance ever, and it is how I became a Midori fan. This 2009 live performance is amazing, and I will kill to be in the audience to witness greatness. Finally, we have Midori's final album, and material released as the recording of this video. The album titled Shinsekai. This is their jazziest and softest record in terms of material. This is the only album to start off with a pop ballad, simply titled Hato. This beautiful ballad leads into another Yukiko-san situation in track 2, with crazy vocals and a jazz break at the end. The album ends with Donsuko being a great song, but a very anticlimactic and accidentally funny end to a legacy. I mean, it literally means rock bottom. This album sees a change of the band, even Goto-san changing her whole character for this album rollout. This album is sadly my least favorite of theirs. It is still a good album, do not get me wrong, but in terms of Midori, this is lower than the rest in my ranking if I were to make one. The band would sadly announce their disbandment on Christmas Day, with their final show being played a few days later titled Sayonara Goto-san at Liquid Room Ebiso in Tokyo. This live performance, although not being as great as their 2009 show, would show the band's final hurrah, with them performing their classics while also some songs from their recent album. The band would end the show with Goto-san's favorite track being Pop. What an end to a band's legacy. According to a forum in J-Rock 1, Midori broke up due to hierarchy amongst the band and that Goto-san did not want this situation to turn more worse than it was. I'm not sure as if this information is accurate, so please correct me if I'm wrong. What's next for the members? You're most likely asking. Well, Goto-san went on to create many side projects varying from different genres. She released 3 alt-rock albums and then released some albums under the moniker DJ510 Mariko, ranging from hardcore and electronic to dance. Hajime has a YouTube channel making music under the name Hajimeta. Keigo Iwami would create a jazz band called Onsynth Trio, and finally Kozeni Yoshitaka would join his band Nigami's 17th birthday. I could go more into each member's background, but this Reddit post explains everything better, so I would for sure link it below. Midori is one of the only bands that have actually dedicated time into researching the material and making sure I do them justice. Trying to find a Midori fan in the wild is extremely difficult for me. I would like to at least be in some sort of community dedicated to the work, but alas, I could not find anything. I hope this video has shined some light onto the amazing band Midori was, and hope this will get some people into the band. This will be my goal for this video, although I will also like for the band to think of reuniting, but I know that I'm asking for too much. If you have any criticism or corrections, please mention them for me, as this is my first material dedicated to something I love. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have enjoyed.